This is Module 1 Lesson 1.06 and 1.07 for 7th grade. This week we are going to go over 1.05 and 1.06. There's 2 lessons this week, comparing and contrasting mediums, which is an assignment, and 1.06, what is the mystery meaning, which is a quiz. So before we get started with this lesson, let's have a couple of things pulled up. First thing you want to have pulled up is your pace chart. So have your pace chart up, have your notes available, and then you want to go ahead and go into Educator and have the lesson pulled up for this week. For all your lessons this week, you want to make sure you read through the lessons and take your notes. You want to turn those objectives into questions. And the last couple of weeks, we've really worked on how to take those notes. And remember, the best way to do that is take your objectives, turn those into questions, and use those as your guiding questions as you go through and read the lesson, because that will help you. You want to go to the grade book, take the quiz, complete the assignment after you've read through the lesson and taken your notes, and then you want to repeat if necessary. Remember, you have 3 chances on those quizzes, but I don't want you to take them one after a time. If you take a quiz and you don't do as well as you had hoped, I want you to go back, reread the lesson, add to your notes, and then go back and retake the quiz. And again, you can repeat that up to 3 times if necessary. And if you are stuck, always you can call or text me for help. So for 1.05, and for those of you following along, you can go right to 1.05, and you'll see on that second page of the lesson, it talks about your objectives. So 1.05 is comparing and contrasting mediums. The objectives to that, after completing this lesson, you will be able to. The things that I've highlighted in yellow, that's how I turned the objectives into questions. So I can use those as I go through and I take notes on the lesson. So now my objectives read, how do I identify techniques employed in various mediums to enhance a story? Can I analyze the effects of techniques unique to each medium? How do I compare and contrast a written story with a version in another medium? And this is one of the things that we will be focusing on this week, the third one especially, because what we are working on this week with an assignment is you are going to do a comparison and contrast of a written story with a version in another medium. And again, I'm not going over the entire lesson with you. I still want you to go through and read the lesson on your own. This is just a brief overview. That way, hopefully, I can help you as you go through the lesson. So in this lesson, you will be learning about mediums. So there's 3 different types of mediums that we'll talk about in this chapter, in this text. You'll have text, audio, and video. So in a text, as a medium, you'll use specific techniques like written words, detailed descriptions, written dialogue, the reader's own pace and imagination. So when you're reading a text, you're doing it at your own pace, and you're using your imagination to create the story and create the pictures in your head. If you listen to an audio version of a story, you'll use specific techniques like music, sound effects, and vocal inflection, and that will help enhance a story and affect your emotions. And then video, you use music, special effects, camera shots, actors, costumes, sets, and props. And those are all different ways that video uses to enhance a story and affect your emotions. So the 3 different mediums that we'll talk about are text, audio, and video. So as you go through that in your lessons, I want you to make sure that you take your notes and be able to compare the mediums. And that chart that I just showed you is right from your notes. So you want to sketch that down on your notes. This should be a really good way for you to kind of visually understand and have this in your notes, because you know that you can use these notes on your lessons and DBAs and quizzes. But let's jump into what the assignment is for 1.05. So everyone go to the last page on the lesson, and then let's look together at what is my assignment for 1.05. So your directions for what is my assignment for 1.05. Number 1, read the lesson. All right, let's say that I've already read the lesson, taken my notes. Number 2, finish the activities in my lesson. Okay, I've done all that. Now, number 3, read the instructions. As we talked about last week, anytime you see something underlined or written in a different color, you want to click on that because it's a hyperlink. And then it says number 4, save your work to your computer or drive. Number 5, submit 1.05 comparing and contrasting mediums. So let's all go ahead and do that right now and click on number 3, read your instructions. So click right on that hyperlink for read your instructions. And what that does is that pulls up your instructions for 1.05, and it should look just like what I'm looking at here on the screen. So for 1.05, comparing and contrasting mediums, you will complete an organizer comparing and contrasting the mediums of the Telltale Heart. View the grading rubric as you complete your work. This is your guide to a super submission. And what you can do is you can go through and click on the grading rubric, and that will tell you exactly what you need to get a super submission for this. And then for part 1, to select the compare and contrast organizer. It will help you complete this assessment. Just like last week, I made one in a Google Doc for you guys. So you want to use the organizer that's on the PACE chart. So when you use the organizer that's on the PACE chart, so everyone go to your PACE chart right now, and you'll see on your PACE chart for this week, underneath 1.05 comparing and contrasting mediums, there's your hyperlink for 1.05 graphic organizer. So go ahead and click on 1.05 graphic organizer. And what that will do is that will open up a new window for you. So when you click on 1.05, you'll get a new paper. And it'll say on the screen, click on the 1.05 graphic organizer. And then you're going to make a copy of it because I can't have everyone write on this. So you want to make your own copy. File, make a copy. So when you do, and this is the same thing we did last week, file, make a copy. And then you want to rename it with your name and the assignment number. So my example would be Bailey, which is my last name, LA for Language Arts, and then 1.05. So this is your graphic organizer for 1.05. You can use the one from the instructions, the one on the PACE chart that will allow you to be able to write in it. All right, so we've already got that all done. We have for 1.05, we're going to go back to the directions now, so click over to your instructions from the lesson for 1.05. All right, we already did the compare and contrast organizer because we did that from our PACE chart. Check. We saved the worksheet. We've got that on our Google Drive. Number 3, reread the text medium, Edgar Allan Poe's short story, The Telltale Heart, which is a great short story. We read it last week, but we're going to reread it this week so it's fresh in our minds. And as you read, fill in your ideas about pace, character, and mood in the organizer. That's that graphic organizer that you just added to your Google Doc. Consider the techniques used in the text, such as your imagination, descriptions of setting, and mood. How does this affect you? Oh, so I get to use my personal opinion on this. So as I reread and fill out that graphic organizer, I get to talk about how the text story, when I read it, how it affected me. And you guys know it's a creepy story, so that should be a lot of fun. And then in 1.05, the instructions, I need to click right here and I need to listen to the audio medium, The Telltale Heart. Now, because this is on a PDF, I can't click and play it right from here. But in your instructions, you can click on this on lesson 1.05 And when you click, it will play the audio recording of the Telltale Heart. And then I want to go back down here. As I listen, fill in your ideas about pace, character, and mood in your organizer. Okay, so I want to do the same thing that I did for the text in the organizer, but I want to base it on the audio version. Consider the techniques used in the audio production, such as voice, so I have to pay attention to voice, music, and sound effects. How does this affect you? Oh, good, it's my own opinion again. So I can write about voice, music, and sound effects, how it affected me when I listened to the audio version of the Telltale Heart. Number 7, write your claim in the organizer. Are there differences in how the medium affects you? Are there similarities, or are there both differences and similarities? What is your opinion? So your claim is which one you liked better, and were they similar or different? And that's what you fill out in the graphic organizer. And then we go on to part 2. So part 1, I listen to the audio version of the Telltale Heart. I reread the text version of the Telltale Heart, and I fill out that graphic organizer that I made for my pace chart on 1.05. And then below the organizer, my part 2, so this is assignment. You should budget a little more time for this week, because this is one of those assignments that's going to take you a little bit to do. So part 1 is listening, rereading the Telltale Heart, filling out the graphic organizer, and then you're going to use that graphic organizer in part 2. Because part 2, below the organizer, write a paragraph comparing and contrasting the text medium and the audio medium of the Telltale Heart. Analyze how the pace, character, and mood varied with each medium and how these differences affected you. Use the ideas from your organizer to write the paragraph. Because guess what, guys? In part 1, you already did the hard work. You filled out your organizer, and you want to use that to write your paragraph. So part 1, you need an introduction sentence. Write the title, author, and your claim. Part 2, body. Write about how the pace, character, and mood affected you in each medium. I like this one because it gets to be, you need to do your opinion as long as you back it up with that text-based evidence. So you can say that you liked one more than the other, but you need to relate it back to that medium and the pace, character, and mood. And then part 3, conclusion sentence. Restate your ideas about your claim. And then you, of course, want to save your document to your computer and turn it in for 1.05. And remember, we always turn things in as PDFs. So you want to take that Google Doc and you want to save it as a PDF and turn it in for 1.05. Okay, we went over where to find it on the pace chart. We make a copy of it. These are just the directions again. 1.05 part 2. Notice that when you write that paragraph, just to reiterate it, there are certain words in bold, and those are the major parts that you want to make sure that you do in order to get that good grade on it. Pace, character, and mood for each medium, and how the differences affected you. So it's a compare and contrast paragraph. All right, so that's 1.05. 1.05 is probably the larger lesson this week. 1.06 is about what is the mystery meaning. So if you want to go in the lessons to 1.06, we can go over the objectives quickly for 1.06. 1.06 is what is mystery meaning, and it's really about context clues. So your objective is, can I use, I forgot to put can I in there, can I use context clues to determine the meaning of a word? All right, so it's about context clues, and you want to, at the end of the lesson, be able to use context clues to help you determine the meaning of an unknown or unfamiliar word. And after you go through and you read through the lesson, you take your notes. You want to go and complete the quiz for 1.06. Reminders, due Friday, and it's a short week this week, so make sure that you're focused. 1.05, comparing and contrasting mediums. It got cut off by my elephant. 1.06, what is a mystery meeting? And that's a quiz. So 1.05, that's your larger lesson for the week with an assessment, a written assignment, and then 1.06 is your quiz. No live lesson the following 2 Mondays, 9/3 and 9/10. We are off. Please check your pace charts for recording. There'll be a recording for next week's lessons also. Looking for credit for watching this recording? Send me a text with what type of animal is holding the don't forget sign on the slide. So make sure you look up to see what kind of animal is holding that don't forget sign, and then send me a text so I can give you credit for attending this lesson and watching it. Need help? Please call or text. As always, if there's anything that you're confused about, not sure about, please call me, send me a text so I can help you out. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day.